a scene, you get the boss. And this one is Rocco. We're gonna try to do the super fast route on Rocco. Run, hit, hit, hit. Run, hit, hit. It's harder. Nope. And I missed my window. This is why I should actually make a save state. I have not actually messed that up in a long time. I actually need to restart the run too, unfortunately. My apologies there. We're gonna hustle. Should have set a save state. We're just gonna juke past these guys. Hopefully we don't get carry. We didn't get carry. Not the frat guys we're looking for because we want a chain. We won't do the super fast strat on Rocco because it's actually got a very tight window to get him in 7 hits instead of 8. I need some money. I seem to have dropped frames. It should be back up. I apparently dropped some frames there, not sure why. I'm gonna keep a tab on that. Ah, quality options, never mind. I'm gonna set save states before the bosses and a couple of the things I want to try. Got no gang announced here, which means we get no enemies. So, a couple quirks with these boxes. If you try to go next to these boxes and jump up, that's not going to happen. You're going to bounce off. If you're up against the back wall, you cannot jump up on these boxes. If your sprite is past the midpoint of this edge, you cannot jump up on these boxes. So there's a couple of ways to get up here. Some folks will do this. They'll come to the back walls, sprint, and jump up to the top. Sorry again. And you can also just jump up and path up on the edge. You have to watch it. There's a little bit of a magic pixel here which can kind of trip you up. I can use a crate. So, I'm actually going to use a mouse. Enemies here can actually spawn on the right or left sides of this partition. There are exactly 2 combinations in which they can possibly spawn on the right. One will spawn in one combination, 2 will spawn in the other. Ideally, you want all of the enemies to spawn so you don't have to cross back over to the right to defeat the 3rd or 4th and cross back over to fight Rocco. It eats about 15 seconds of time. So the trick here is there is a line about somewhere past here, where if you don't scroll the screen to the left past that line, the enemies will continue to spawn on the left side of the partition. So the 2nd and 3rd ones here, we're going to kill them right now. Yeah, this is going to force the last one to be here on the left. Alright. This is going to be a little harder. This has a slow swing speed, but we can still do Rocco in, I think, 8 hits. Nope. This is not the fast strat for Rocco by any stretch. This is actually why you want to chain. So the problem with the larger weapons is they have a slower animation time, and they actually give Rocco a chance to actually block or retaliate. Thanks. So we're going to take a look at our money here. We have $27.20. Rocco drops $3. The homeboys in here each drop 75 cents each, which brought us to $26, and we killed 2 members of the jocks to get $27.20 since they dropped 60 cents each. The magic number is $26.95. That's going to be to buy the Stone Hands technique when we backtrack. Why do we get Stone Hands? A standing Stone Hands does 15 damage, which is 5 times that of a normal punch. And a running Stone Hands does 36 damage, which is a little more than, say, 3 running punches and the damage equivalent of 12 standing punches. Just with default stats. I'm going to buy it here from this mall, because we have to backtrack back here anyways to aid. actually gonna pause here, since this is the only time I need to pause. Myself a better idea as to how I want to juke past these guys. So defeating Rocco allows Blade to spawn. If you come in here normally, Blade is not alive. Not here, it's just gang members. He's gonna take typically 5 running stone hands to defeat. Go. We're gonna take his money, because he's useful for a safety item. I should be setting save states. So when you defeated Rocco, you said you had to take care of Blade and Sherman Park, and Blade actually mentions that you can't defeat all 3 zombies. So basically there are 3 bosses regarded as the zombies that are basically, when they're all defeated, it sets the flag to spawn Thor, which is the head of the zombies. After which, when you defeat him, that sets the flag to spawn Ivan in front of River City High. After you defeat him, you can get into River City High. You can defeat Otis, who allows Randy and Andy to spawn, who gives you access to the roof, which lets you defeat Simon. Basically, boss rush the game. Right here, this is going to be the most dangerous part of the run. You have a single scene, enemies can spawn right to the left or right. An ambush. Homeboys here have a very high weapon priority. They will actually ignore me entirely to go after the crate. They are basically free kills. Perk here is usually 4 hits, sometimes 5. There he goes. Take his coin. The next scene here, we're actually going to have Mojo, the last of the zombie lieutenants. Here's Mojo. There's actually an exposition skip on Mojo. We'll see if I can actually do it. Oh, it's going to be a bit off. That would be the hit. No, it didn't get the exposition skip. Mojo has 2 lines of exposition, and if you hit the ground at the same time that he hits the ground, he does not actually say his exposition, saves about 4.5 seconds. Now we've got some money. This is going to be the safety item in the game. This is the main one. There's 2 alternate ones. I'm going to buy a land lake here, and I'm going to explain death on the next scene. Set a save state. We're gonna die. We're gonna see what happens. Okay, this is actually a hard gang to die on. Okay, so we're not gonna die here. Maybe they can hit me in the air. Thank you. Okay, so when you reach 0 stamina, have 0 bars of health, die on any knockout maneuver. There is a whole myriad of knockout maneuvers in the entire game. Believe it or not, even running into a light post with 0 stamina is a knockout maneuver. If you do this with no health, you actually get KO'd, lose half your money, and go back to the previous death checkpoint. You have 2 options to prevent the death blow. One is as you are falling down, like say like this, but before you hit the ground, and really before it says Ryan has lost all of his power, you can go to your belongings and use an item that restores any amount of stamina, even 1 stamina. You won't be KO'd, you won't die, you won't go back to the previous checkpoint, and you can get back up. The lamb leg here is a little different. So there's something called willpower recoveries. I'm going to kind of demonstrate that. Next scene. Assuming we don't get the squids, because the squids are going to be hard. Okay. Internationals will gladly kick the crap out of me. Okay. Internationals know how to beat people up properly. So we're going to use the lamb leg here. And mid-air, as we're getting knocked down to the ground, we're going to take a break, crack out a Weber grill, and cook the lamb leg. Delicious. So we get 2 more punch. This is actually going to increase the damage of our stone hands somewhat materially, about 16 to 20%. And it also gave us 48 willpower. So willpower is a fun mechanic in this game, because it is the only way to get a second wind. Normally you have 15 willpower, but if you have 35 or more willpower, when you get knocked down, you're not dead. We see now I get up, and I have 15 stamina. I traded some willpower automatically for stamina. So with maximum willpower, you will get 3 second wins. You'll get one where you come back with 15 stamina, one where you come back with 12 stamina, and the last one where you come back with 9 stamina. Your willpower is actually permanently depleted. It does not restore automatically. You have to refill it with items. Now, why does this matter? This matters because the second to last boss in the game can basically deal your entire health bar in one shot. So it doesn't matter if you have 1 stamina or 61 stamina, they one-shot you. You need substantially more to survive multiple hits. Willpower, actually, when you're on the ground, you have infinite stamina until you get up with stamina. And notice here, they're not attacking me. In Novice, you have an infinite... Basically, they will not retaliate when you are in a willpower recovery window. They just don't. And that is why that is actually probably the best safety item in the entire game. You get 3-second chances. And you actually get all the money, normally from... Nope. Normally from the bosses you're going to kill and the gang members you're going to knock out. So you don't actually have to grind for that item. Guys, please. This does happen. I may be the world record holder, but this does happen. I'm just gonna knock these guys out because I just don't want to deal with them. So, remember I said maximum jump length, height, and maximum speed is not reached immediately? This actually matters because you can actually jump this gap. You need to be towards the back of the wall here, but if you start from, say, back here, jump the gap. It only saves about 1.5 seconds. If not, you can use the door on the bottom. Here, the door on the top. This is Thor. So we're gonna go into something really important here. I'm gonna put a save state. We're gonna do what some people think is a quick kill of Thor. Oh my god, quick kill! No, I need to do the quick kill right. There we go. That is not a quick kill. Thor is not considered dead by the game. So in order for a boss's defeat flag to be set, the boss must despawn and their coin must spawn. When we go to River City High now, Ivan is not going to spawn, the gates are not unlocked, do not pass go, do not collect $200, do not save your girlfriend. So, we have to actually defeat Thor correctly, which is to actually kick his butt. I'm gonna just do that. My window. There we go. Now with his coin spawned, Thor is actually dead. You don't need to pick it up, but the coin has to spawn for the flag to be set. Internationals here, the juke is up, down, oops, and then up. And don't stop. Let's show something fun by, here we go. So here's another case of weapon priorities. The Internationals have a weapon priority that is set to always. Enemies will sometimes prioritize targeting a weapon to pick up before they attack you. The Internationals will actually always do this if a weapon is available, and on this scene, typically, there will be a tire here. If you get the Internationals will always go for the tire, never attack you. They'll actually run right through you. But they only do it if the tire is considered available. So right now the tire is rolling around. That's not considered available. We're gonna do this right. There we go. That's called a free kill. Interestingly, Ivan, the boss we're about to fight, also has always priority on weapons. So Ivan will actually never attack you. He'll just try to run through you and go to the tire. So on Ivan, we're always going to stay on the left side. Just your running stone hands. He will actually not attack us. Even if I give him a chance to attack me, he can't attack me. There we go, and Ivan's dead. And during River City High we go. We're gonna have another boss here, Otis. Oh. No. Should actually show something with weapons here and safe approaches. Mookie, please. I'm gonna give Mookie a weapon. Please. Alright, Mookie's got a weapon, and the safe way to approach somebody with a weapon is actually from the bottom or the top, and they'll do that too. I don't want to approach you head on. Apologies for scrubbing it up here. These guys actually hit as hard as the first optional boss of the game. Do that. So here's Otis. The 7 to 8 running stone hands will take him out. That's it. So the exit is actually up here. There's a couple ways to do this. There is a very swag-tastic jump in which you can jump from about here at full speed and land on the hoop, but that's pretty hard. The easiest way here is the balance beam. Just hold up, jump. The balance beam actually has depth. If you try to jump up immediately, you will not get onto the basketball hoop. You have to be on the back of the balance beam, so just hold up. You have a visual audio indicator, which is that little hop, and you can jump up onto the beam. Last boss we care about is actually on the 3rd floor of City High. Cowboys are another example of just let them come up/down to you, and don't try to take them on head-on. Merle here is easy pickings. There we go. Randy and Andy. There is a lot of ways to approach Randy and Andy. There is a quote-unquote safe strat that I'm going to demonstrate, but I don't really like, and I'm going to explain that. There's a reason I'm actually throwing that weapon to the other side of the screen. Randy and Andy actually have a pretty high weapon priority. It's not always, but they tend to go to them, which are off the side of the screen here. And chasing after them off screen is basically a death wish. These guys can basically deal your entire default health bar in a single hit, and yes, Whitehead is indicating Double Dragon music. These guys are basically Billy and Jimmy from Double Dragon, because Technos made both games. So the safe strat, quote-unquote safe strat, is you can start scrolling the screen here until they appear, and just Randy will run to you. And you can fight them separately. I don't like this for 2 reasons. The first is Randy and Andy now have the opportunity for a first strike, and these guys hit like trucks. If he hits me with that stick once, I'm out. Second is you have to basically spend twice as much time in the fights because you're dealing twice as many punches, which means you have twice as many opportunities to script the timing. Last, you have to then listen to their initial upfront exposition, and you miss the opportunity for the dialogue skip post-defeat. So ultimately, it's an additional, let's say, about 40-45 second cost. But we can do this, and we're going to. You can still screw it up. Just gonna do this properly. Let's count my timing. So there are normally 9 hits with the default stats. You'll notice on the 9th hit I actually staggered it, and there's a reason for this. If you stagger the kill, there is no post-defeat exposition. It saves about 9 seconds. Normally you have to wait for them to go with their spiel before you can go through the doors and fight Simon. So that's a 9-second time save. If you use the lamb leg, you want to do that on hit 7 instead of hit 9. We're going to do a save state here, because we're going to show you something that most people don't know. Roxy said Cindy's on the top floor of River City High. Most people go to the roof, they defeat Simon, and wonder where she is. That's not the top floor, that's the roof. Don't worry, you're safe now, and you can go home. Now she's got to go buy scrunchies, guys. Roll. Something we're going to point out here, if you are holding a weapon, remember, you can't block. So, Simon's basically a sitting duck, though all the bosses are sitting ducks during. I Okay, try something fancy there. He'll go down about 11 to 13 running hits. There we go. So actually, that door is not unlocked until Randy and Andy are defeated. What we're going to do now is we're going to reset. We're going to go into more safe strats and other things you can do. Make your run a little bit safer. I think everyone's target time for this game should really be about 9.5 minutes. We're going to do a run with safe strats here. Please no carry. There's carry. The guy with the sunglasses, number one, they're a more aggressive AI, so was the Fred Flintstones looking guy. They also usually have some of the highest agility in the gang, and in the case of generic dudes even, they're actually faster than you. A shame. Bad breaks, the game sound or my sound? Okay. Mike I actually don't think can put higher. Yeah, Mike's maxed out, unfortunately. Let me just bring it a little closer. We'll restart the run in a second. Put it higher. Getting on top of the mic. We're really looking for a chain. Makes Rocco a lot faster. Yeah, no chain. Really unfortunate. Oh well. We've got one more chance to get a chain. Realistically. Got to Roxy about 35 seconds, which is okay. I was really shooting for about 31 and a half. Her spiel's about 18 seconds. So the next scene, I'm hoping I get frat guys so I can get a chain. No, homeboys, no weapon chance. Homeboys again, no weapon chance. We're gonna go on the wall here. Those guys are particularly aggressive. Well, a weapon, which is better than no weapon. But really non-ideal gang. We did get the right side, which is good. We don't have to cross back over to the left. We don't have to worry about a positioning over here. Alright, he's gonna take more hits, so we're gonna try to do this right. That's gonna take 4 knockdowns. There we go. With a chain, we would have had 1 fewer knockdown. We're also short quite a bit of money because, number one, we didn't kill any gang members before. I don't even want to kill these guys. And we got the... Ooh. I don't want to fight those guys. We got the a non-optimal gang in the warehouse. There we go. Now we got the money we want. I forgot to split. Derp. There we go. Actually need to watch my health. I'm pretty low. take a hit. Normally Blade is already dead. We're about 18 seconds past world record. Sometimes the best way to skip somebody is to just knock them out. It only costs you about 0.6 of a second. So the other safe strats are you can buy a muffin in the first mall, the second store, because that will let you restore 6 stamina and actually give you a little bit more movement speed. The other is you can buy a cookie from the leftmost store in the last mall for about $1. That also gives you 6 stamina. So basically, they're just cheap ways to prevent a death blow. We're gonna kind of all in this a little bit. A lot of additional stuff is explained in the guide in more detail. He's gonna run past. That was my bad for not capitalizing on it. Messy hair guys have a very high block rate of any gang member. Ooh, not a gang I want here. So the coins actually dictate spawns, so there's only 2 members of a gang that can be on a screen simultaneously, and if the coin is not yet despawned or collected, they won't spawn. Same with the bosses, they won't spawn unless the coins are collected, so collect the coins, because otherwise you're probably adding about 90 seconds to 2 minutes to the run. I actually don't need his coin. We're gonna get the lamb leg. Should actually always get it in the race. About 10 seconds to buy it. About another 10 seconds to use it. To get 3-second wins. If you die on Randy and Andy, which you're more likely to do than anything else in this run, you lose 90 seconds. How did I mess anything up? Out of all things. Pick first bad Thor, and who knows? There we go, he's down. Not the gang I want to see, because they're fast. And also not the gang I want to see, because they're aggressive as heck. These guys basically have the frat boys AI. They are a very hard time actually knocking you down. They will actually never deal 2 consecutive blows, with the exception of throwing a weapon, and then basically a second guy knocking you out. That's how the squids and the frat guys almost always actually kill you. Ivan's locked up because he wants a weapon and he can't go get it because I'm too busy punching him in the face. Cowboys here, not. One thing to remember is you always prioritize weapon pickups. So there was a couple cases where if I was standing instead of running, since you can't pick up a weapon when you're running, I would have picked up the weapon and gave them a window to probably KO me. That's part of the reason why we do running attacks. The other reason is the running attacks do about 140% more damage. Yeah, funny thing for folks copy-paste or renoing in chat, Slick is actually not in the game. Slick is in the upcoming sequel. What can I say? Having played it, he's kind of like a cross between Tetsuo from Akira and Cody from Street Fighter 4. 6, 7, 8. Let's go for the dialogue skip. Dialogue skip. I think it's 7 I want to do this on. This is risky as hell. Got it. That extra pipe hit basically took 1 hit off of Simon. One more hit I had to do. That was actually a gold on Simon from world record. That was an 8:36, which isn't too bad. I'd say for most people, 8:30 is going to be your target completion time. Just going to look down a few more other things. See if there's anything that I really should have covered. Honestly, I believe that's it, unless there's anything else anyone wants me to do. For Fox, the sequel will be coming out in a few months. It was kickstarted. Some Canadian independent developers, and the original Technos devs actually did consult on the project. But Best of Ness, Bad Breaks, Feasel, anything else you guys would like me to cover? Or do you want me to do, I don't know, like an all-in world record attempt or something? I've actually not looked at that, Yogi, because the most common mistake is people will get a partial flurry in which 2 hits connect. I know, theoretically, if only 1 hit connects, it won't even knock down. But I'd like to say it's 3 hits of 12. It seems consistent because the damage is always a multiple of 3. But I've not actually verified that. Do kind of one more run until Best of Ness says we're done here. Alright, all in attempts. This is hard. So, on my cartridge, I would normally always get frat guys, which means I get a guaranteed chain on the first scene. Whereas in the ROM here, that never happens. It's always generic dudes. A lot of RNG in this, but we'll give it a shot. Try one world record. For those who don't know, my attempt counter is in the 1800s. And there were actually mistakes in my world record run. I think I could have easily had a 732 and possibly even a 728. There's actually a much faster strat coming to try to drive this down to 7 minutes, and ultimately, when that's finally tuned and perfected, my goal is 6 minutes. It's a bit tough. Got to Roxy under 32. You go up here, there's the second optional boss, Benny and Clyde. It's the only other duo fights in the game. You can also fight them again in front of the Burb Village sauna if you defeat them here. I think that's the point in the game, aside from maybe moves in the construction site, where people learn that throwing bosses in pits didn't count. So there's normally 2 tires here, since I only saw 1 tire. Oh, come on. I knew that somebody was carrying a weapon, because the scene weapons were gone. That was rough. Let's, hope we get 1 right side spawn, make this easier. Yes, in the ideal gang, too. Take that, Brady. Yes, I do have their names all memorized. There's, 81 gang members in the gang, and I know them all. Okay, I probably can't influence the spawns here. Well, maybe. Doug's not playing ball. There we go, that should be left side spawn. Yep. So, Rocco should already be dead. We're gonna try to do the super fast strat. Nope, 8 hit. That's the normal 8 hit, run, hit, hit. Run, hit, hit. I'm sorry, run, hit, hit, hit. Run, hit, hit. Run, hit, hit. Throw. That is the normal 8-hit Rocco with a chain. That was a 155. World record Rocco is a 136. I've done a 134. This is actually the earliest point in the game this gang can spawn. That is terrifying that they're here. No. The better strategy, you know, for example, some people say, why not get an early stone hands? You can get an early stone hands, but typically you're going to defeat, let's say about 12 to 14 gang members, in which you spend an entire minute doing that. You're better spent getting good. There are exactly 2 fights you should really need to practice in River City Ransom. One is Rocco, because it's a completely different type of fight than every other boss, and the other is Randy and Andy. If you can do Rocco and Randy Andy reliably, you can do this entire game reliably. Well, yeah, I knew I was running into that. We're still about 19 seconds ahead of world record. I'm trying to just juke because every time I land from a jump, my movement stops. That cost me about 3/4 of a second. Trying to juke all the things. Yeah, for those wondering, about 6.5 years ago, I actually looked at the 6502 for 2 games and fully reverse engineered them over about 3 months each. One was River City Ransom, the other was the PRG1 version of Dragon Warrior. But I actually do know how the game works internally. Poppy fight. I'm saving a little time here. Yeah, we saved about 5 seconds. Lost some time here. There's some time to save in the gym, but that's about it. I couldn't even attempt the exposition skip because I have no stamina. So if I run into a wall, it runs over. I can't think of how many serious attempts that's been the case. It's actually really hard to work in the original stamina budget. Ooh, did not want to run. Stop. Barely made it. Barely got that. Saved about 3/10. Oh, up. Have to do that. There we go. Squids are slow, but they're fairly safe. They'll never hit you twice. I actually wouldn't say the Rock CD is a safe strat anymore. It's lamb leg or go home. The Rock CD, even if you, it just buys you 1 hit. You're better off just spending $1 on a cookie. That buys you 1 hit as well. Oh, you're stuck up there. You just ruined the run. He's actually stuck. He cannot move. I have to go up there and get him. It's the only way. Even when I go up there, he's not gonna move. Thanks for ruining the run, jerkface. What's your name? I forget your name. Thanks, Slim. I would try the swag jump, but I risk running into the bleachers. The reason I threw the stick is it did about 16 damage, I think. Position skip, it was slow. That actually was not the safe strat on the Dragon Shrins. That was just the dialogue skip. So 827. I was actually really fast on with the safety strat. I got an 836. Getting the lamb leg, that's ridiculous. So world record's about, thinking 48 seconds faster. We really lost a ton of time with Slim in the top left corner in the gym. That spawn spot is bugged. They can't actually move from it. Yeah, so I've covered the safe strat on the Dragon Twins. The concern with it is, number one, it adds 45 seconds. Two, you eliminate one risk to create two new risks. One of which is far deadlier. So I'm not actually a fan of it. I don't consider it a safe strat. So again, we do have the guide here in the corner, which goes over a lot of stuff in detail. There's a couple things like every single safety wall in the game, the number of hits to defeat bosses, optional safety items, including the muffins and cookies, some additional detail about all the other mechanics in the game, including very detailed mechanics on the willpower recoveries and death prevention, as well as how the knockdown mechanics work. Do check out that guide if you're one of the runners here. Slick is, so all the backstory is going to be revealed in the sequel. Slick is not actually in the game. They decided to basically finish it up with a Double Dragon surprise. There's actually a lot of crossovers. The RCR, Renegade, Double Dragon, Super Spike V-Ball, Nintendo World Cup, and Crash and the Boys universes are actually all the same universe. I think we're done here. Bad breaks, I think we're done.